What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 32 of Cover Your Balls. I'm Jordan McKelly. Over there, Canton, Ohio. That's Mitchell Balla. And we're the Cover Your Balls crew, back for another packed episode. I hope all of you out there had a better weekend than the King did from Burger King. I had a fantastic weekend. Mitch, have a good weekend?
I had a great weekend. You know, wasn't long enough. I don't think the weekends are ever long enough. But,
Never.
It's a beautiful week. Weather's looking great. I think I might, after this, go lay in a hammock for a little bit. I know a good friend Sam Summers is out hammocking right now in Kent while he listens to us. So,
shout out Sam Summers. We'll see you Thursday. Mitch?
Yes, we will.
I don't know if you heard about this, but a starting quarterback in the NFL, he got a contract over the weekend. It's pretty large. It's pretty big. And
that's what she said.
Yeah, she did say that. Dak Prescott over the weekend, Mitch, got $160 million over 4 years with the Dallas Cowboys. He got the largest signing bonus ever with $66 million at signing and $126 million guaranteed with the Cowboys. So, Mitch, who got the better deal here, the Cowboys or Dak Prescott?
Both. It's both. And I'll elaborate why more so the Cowboys later, but obviously Dak Prescott right away looks like the bigger winner. $66 million signing bonus, $75 million in his first year, including the signing bonus, $126 million guaranteed out of the $160 million, Jordan, for a guy coming off of ankle surgery where not did he sprain an ankle. That thing broke in half. You know, it wasn't a little like, ooh, roll man. Like, nah, that thing snapped. And all of America saw it, unfortunately, because nobody wanted to see that. Yeah, that was my reaction. I think I ran. I kind of threw up a little bit in my mouth. I felt terrible. The guy coming off of an injury is getting $160 million over the next 4 years. That seems like a win-win right there for me. $126 million guaranteed. You know, I don't know the fine details if he were to get injured or, you know, if he just suddenly retires. But to me, it seems like Dak Prescott's a pretty damn good spot right now when it comes to financials and as the starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Wow. When I saw this contract, the first thing I thought of was, I hope this doesn't affect future quarterback contracts. And let's be honest here, Mitch. That's exactly what it's going to do. This contract is league altering. League altering. You brought it up earlier. There are rumors that a TV contract could get signed, correct? That would change the amount of money in the entire league. With that being said, that could change our opinion on it if that happens. But right now, Mitch, I think this is a terrible deal for the Dallas Cowboys. I feel like Dak Prescott robbed the Cowboys blind. Like, just straight blind. Like, this was unbelievable. His stock kept going down, yet his price kept getting higher. His stock couldn't have been... it was at its absolute lowest months ago when he snapped his ankle. How does he get $40 million a year? How does he get top signing money? I don't understand at all. And hopefully this does not decimate here's the thing. Typically when teams make deals like this with quarterbacks and they end up poor, at least that quarterback's taken them deep into the playoffs. Dak Prescott has won one playoff game. None of this makes sense. I don't understand. If Dan Orlovsky loves this deal, then I hate this deal. Let me tell you that right now, Mitch. If Dan Orlovsky loves this deal, then I hate it because he thinks Carson Wentz is good. He thinks he's great. So there's a lot of things that I don't like about this. A lot of things. Dak, way to get your money, brother. It's kind of crazy. Who's next up, Mitch?
Well, before we even go there, you know what's crazier is the fact that Dak and Jerry Jones had this argument now for 2 years. Dak wanted $40 million. Jerry's like, nah, you're more like a $30 million guy to me. You're more 30 million-ish than you are 40 million-ish, which meant, I mean, if I was Dak, I would have been offended because that meant Carson Wentz was better than me. Jared Goff is better than me. Ryan Tannehill is better than me, which I wouldn't go that far. So all it took was Dak Prescott to snap his ankle. If that's the case, I'm going to go break my foot in a pool again right now if it means I'm getting money. Like, is that what you're telling me right now? Go get hurt, I'm going to make millions of dollars?
Mitch, I think that's I think that's exactly what I'm saying. Typically when people do that, it ends their careers, and they don't get money ever again. Complete opposite with Dak Prescott, though.
Just built different. That's all he is. Built different type of human being. But let's go to what you asked. What does this mean for the future? Jordan, I texted you immediately last night.
Did.
This changed everything in the NFL for Baker Mayfield and the Browns, Josh Allen and the Bills, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. I have been adamant since the Browns were eliminated they needed to extend Baker now, because once one quarterback gets signed, he sets the market for other quarterbacks. Now, what do Baker Mayfield and Dak Prescott have in common? Mm-hmm. They both have the same number of playoff wins. One.
It's true.
All right, Baker Mayfield has been to the playoffs 1 year, has one playoff win. All right. Is Baker as talented as Dak yet? Not yet. I think he will be. I think Baker will be a better quarterback than Dak. But Jordan, now is the real question. Is Lamar going to get his contract? A MVP? Is Josh Allen, who just took his team to the AFC Championship, going to get a big contract? Because these guys, Baker, Allen, and Jackson, are all from the same draft class. So they're all going to be fighting with each other for who has the biggest contract out of those three, right?
Yeah. You're 100% right. And I'm glad we didn't sign Baker to an extension early, because now I think it allows us to reevaluate things a little more. I don't know Baker's not good enough to where we can pay him that money and expect to put solid pieces around him to get to the playoffs. He's not there yet. And that's okay. And I don't think Kevin Stefanski's there yet either. I think he has as much to learn as a coach as Baker does as a quarterback. And I think both of them know a lot already. But I feel like there's a lot of room to grow. With that being said, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, they're 100% going to get paid more than Dak Prescott, like 100%, not even a question. The question is, how much is Baker going to end up getting paid? And it's such a complicated issue, because what happened? Okay, you said they should have signed Baker early. Understandable. Mm-hmm. And I understand why you say that. But say they sign him early and it ends up being a Carson Wentz, Jared Goff situation. We don't want that. We've just dealt with 21 years of just straight shit football. I don't want to go back to watching games with a paper bag over my head. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get scissors, cut holes, and I don't want to do that anymore. Okay? So, I said it weeks and weeks and weeks ago that I wanted, if we extended Baker, I'd extend him $25 million a year, 2 years. That seemed like so maybe you're right. Maybe we should have extended him at a much lower rate. It's complicated. Go ahead.
Could have, whether you like the number or not, they could have signed Baker for let's just throw out the hypothetical of $35 million. Okay, that would look like a steal now, mm-hmm. when Dak's going to get $40 million, and Allen and. Let's put it this way. I think Josh Allen will get more, but there's some people out there who don't think so. And sure, there's different concerns. Lamar Jackson 100% will. He's a former MVP of the league, okay? If you would have signed Baker already, whether you agree with the number or not, below $40 million, you'd be in a great position. But I'm not tripping yet. I was kind of worried last night when I texted you, but I also texted you this morning. A lot of people think the Cowboys win this deal, and a lot of people think that no matter what, even if Baker makes more, which there's some insiders out there, Tony Grossi, who writes for ESPN Cleveland, Cleveland.com, says Baker will absolutely make at least the same amount as Dak Prescott, maybe $39 million. Jordan, if what's going on in the league is true, they can sign him for $50 million for all I care. Because the TV revenue deal that is in the works right now in the NFL is absolutely sickening to even think about, for how much money is going to be put into the NFL and how much the salary caps are going to go up. That's why the Cowboys are winners of this deal too. Dak Prescott got paid, but we're talking $100,000 million. That's over $1 billion. But I don't know why they use different terminology. Don't ask me. I don't write for these people, these weirdos. They're just, I don't know what they do when they write these things. $100,000 million, over $1 billion in TV contracts alone. That money is then distributed equally to all the NFL teams. So the cap is going to skyrocket after it's already the lowest it probably will ever be, unless another global pandemic hits and no fans can go to the game. So listen, the Browns may now, after seeing this deal, say, you know what, we're going to take the 5th-year option on Baker. We're going to see if he can do it again before we have a Carson Wentz or Jared Goff type situation, like you said, although I don't believe that's going to happen, strictly because Baker got better as the year went on, didn't have an injury like Carson Wentz, didn't tear an ACL, and I was just never sold on Jared Goff to begin with. So that's where I'll just leave that.
Well, he's had more success than Dak Prescott, so
yeah,
like a lot more.
I'll give you that.
Not comparable.
He also played.
Also Carson Wentz too. Because he has the most wins Dak's ever had in a year. How much? 10? 10 wins, maybe? Carson won 13 before he got hurt, right?
Before he got hurt, but now we're talking after his injury. He's looked horrendous. He looked like he doesn't even look like he should be a starter in the NFL.
This would be a good deal for the Cowboys, Mitch, if I thought Dak Prescott's the guy. He's not the guy, okay? If someone's going to reset the market, they need to at least be comparable to the top tier quarterbacks. He's not even a top 10 quarterback. Okay? How can you get paid this type of money? Kirk Cousins literally ripped the entire city of Minneapolis off, years ago, and now Dak Prescott's next. What is this? Like amateur hour? I'm tired of these basic quarterbacks. Basic, like literally, like Amazon Basics. You know that? How you save money? Yeah, that's how I feel about Dak Prescott and a lot of these quarterbacks who are getting this money. It makes absolutely no sense at all, because let me explain why. Okay, so if you think the cap's going to go up, pour all your money into the positions that you're terrible at. The Browns' worst position is, for instance, is not quarterback. And neither is the Cowboys. So why wouldn't you pour all your current cap space into whatever positions those were? Because you're going to have to pay the quarterback later. Pay him when you have the money. Don't pay him when you don't have the money. Have you ever gone to the grocery store, gone up to the checkout counter with $130 worth of groceries, and gave him a $20 bill and said, I'll be back later? No! Never, ever have you done that, because that would be lunacy and you would be a moron. And Jerry Jones, you've done it again. I don't know how you managed to mess this up. Dak Prescott, cheers to you, sir, and your brother, because I think his brother works very close with him on some of his negotiations with their agent. This is wild, because I don't think the Cowboys are any better than 4 or 5 wins. And the sad part about that is you should be guaranteed almost 4 to 6 wins in your division. And I don't know if they'll win that. Because I still think the Giants are better. The Redskins, Alex Smith, Alex Smith on one leg. Alex Smith on one leg went 5-1 last year. He went 5-1, and he was not playing very good football. That's how good the Washington Redskins are. They're a game manager away from dominating that division. Dominating. And then I want to talk about the Eagles, but I don't at all.
No, don't need to. No,
ever again.
No.
Yeah, man.
They're borderline an NFL football team right now. That's where the Philadelphia Eagles are. They're borderline an NFL football team. Like, how the NBA has the G League?
Yeah.
The NFL doesn't have it right now, but that's what the Eagles are kind of falling into the category of right now. They don't even have the number 1 pick, and they're falling into the, I don't know, what do we want to, we'll just call it the flag football league. That's what they're resembling of.
Yeah. Dak is overpaid. Grant coming in the comments. I think so too, but Mitch, we got a lot to talk about. Go ahead.
We do. Look, he might be overpaid, but I think once this deal strikes, it's not going to be anything, because there's going to be a lot other quarterbacks that I don't think are even close to deserving of the money that are going to make more than Dak. This is a league that's listen, you know who the biggest loser out of all this is? Patrick Mahomes. Okay, nobody should be making more money as a quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. And that dude said, screw it, and signed, what, a 13-year deal? Well, guess what, Pat Mahomes? You're about to get passed up by some bona fide scrub that's drafted in the 4th round this year, and in 5 years, he's going to be making $55 million a year because he led his team to 10 wins. Because that's how this league works. It's crazy to think that, but that's how it works. All right? I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo, who apparently San Francisco doesn't even want anymore. They're willing to just trade him to New England for a bag of peanuts and and Bill Belichick's jockstrap.
And he has like a 700 winning percentage as a starter, too.
It makes no sense. We'll be able to argue this later down the road. I think Dak Prescott is a good quarterback, a solid quarterback in the NFL. He's not a top 5. He's borderline top 10, especially he is a top 10 if you compare it to Colin Cowherd's list. But we're not going to go back
it's really close. On any given day, Dak can be as good as anybody outside of a couple guys. He's a really good quarterback. He's good.
But we'll leave it here. His numbers are inflated. You and I talked about it off the air earlier when we talked. His numbers might be the most inflated passing football numbers in the NFL because of how bad the defense is and how often they're either trailing or how often they have to go score. I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback, but when you're down 21 points, you're not going to run the ball to get back in the game. You have to pass.
Exactly.
And he has playmakers all over the field that help him, and that's why his numbers are as good as ankle last year.
And that's why the Cowboys should have taken all the money they had available and poured it in to the other positions that you and I could play for the Dallas Cowboys. Okay? Like, you know, this is going to be a long drought for the Cowboys, and I'm not sad about it. I'm not sad about it, Mitch. But, Mitch, it's time to switch it up. Brandon Marshall on First Things First that airs every morning at 7:30 Eastern Time on Fox, he had some interesting thoughts about where Odell Beckham may land next. Do you have that audio?
Yeah, I do. Let's take a listen for what Brandon Marshall said.
Where's he rehabbing right now? Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah, he's going to be on the Cardinals. I know yesterday I talked about the Green Bay Packers, but Nick, I'm looking at this and I'm like, J.J. Watt just goes there. He's out there in Arizona, falling in love with the weather that J.J. Watt's talking about. You got Kyler. You got Big Dog D-Hop on the other side. Why wouldn't you get this done? I am going to double down on the Arizona Cardinals. It makes sense.
Mitch, does this make any sense?
I think that what happened here was Brandon Marshall was playing Madden on his Xbox or PlayStation and had salary cap restrictions turned off and tried this and it worked. So I think he was just, kind of playing the game because no, it makes no sense. But, if we're just going off of where players are, I saw Tom Brady was in New York the other day when he did a TikTok. So Tampa, sorry, Tom Brady's in New York. He's going to the Giants. And Giants fans, you better cry because Saquon Barkley's training with Odell Beckham Jr., which means he's going to the Cardinals too. The Cardinals, who have absolutely no cap space now to sign Odell Beckham or acquire Odell Beckham. Let me rephrase that. Odell Beckham, who isn't a free agent, Saquon Barkley, who isn't a free agent. Apparently the Cardinals are just going to go get whoever they want. Next thing you know, they're going to have Brian Urlacher out of retirement playing middle linebacker for him because they can.
Madden 21.
I heard he likes that. Brandon Marshall is an idiot. He's a bum. And I'm talking about sportscaster Brandon Marshall, not as a person. I will not attack that man as a person because he does a lot of great things off the air. But my God, you need a reality check. Like, this isn't Madden. This is the real NFL. I don't know if you got hit in the head too many times playing in the NFL. I don't know what happened. But just because Odell Beckham Jr. is training in Arizona and J.J. Watt signed with Arizona, that is one of the worst takes in 2021.
It was pretty bad. I mean, if you're going to take somebody just moving around the country as an indication of, like, they're just do you think he's just going to different cities training, just seeing if teams like him, if he wants to go there? Yeah. Like, what? It didn't. I like Brandon Marshall. I do. Some of his takes are ridiculous. I get it. Some of mine are. But there's a 0% chance of this happening. And I know I saw Grant in the comments, and I saw Dacian in the comments say, I hope OBJ doesn't leave. He's leaving. We should have traded him a year ago, like I said we should have, but we've kept on to him. And this is the problem now, Mitch. Not only if we did, hold on, let me go to the Cardinals piece of this real quick. If we did try to send him to Arizona would have to send us back basically J.J. Watt. Like, J.J. Watt's contract is almost comparable to Odell's, and they can only afford one. So, how exactly?
Just to make it fair.
Well, here's the other thing. You have Larry Fitz and you have D-Hop, so that's not a position that's necessarily weak. And you have a quarterback who's really mobile. So I don't even like the move anyways, because like I said with the Cowboys, you have other needs, right? Odell Beckham is not going to be a Cleveland Brown. And answering Grant's question, I don't think we're going to get more than a second-round pick for Odell. Unfortunately, that sucks, but that's what the market's going to be for it. Somehow, Dak Prescott can make $66 million signing bonus, but Odell Beckham Jr. will get traded for a bag of Frito-Lay's chips in a second-round pick. That's what's going to end up happening.
We're not trading Odell.
We're not. You don't think we're trading Odell?
I don't. I think the only way they trade Odell is if it's going to happen, it's because Tom Brady wants him in Tampa. And Tom Brady, the general manager
How
of the
could
Tampa
they
Bay
afford? How could they afford OBJ?
Listen, Tom Brady gets what he wants.
No.
All right. They'll trade away pieces. All right. To get him. I don't think it's even, I don't think that's going to happen. Okay. Because it doesn't make sense. They can't afford him. But if it happens, that's fine. The Browns can hold him hostage then, knowing that Tom Brady wants him and get what they want from him. They're not going to settle and trade him for a second round pick. They're going to ask for, I mean, I don't even know who's under contract because they have a lot of free agents, but they're going to ask for X, X, and X and say, all right, you're not willing to give that to us. We'll hold on to him. Because listen, there's that narrative out there that Baker's better without Odell. And part of me believes it. I also don't believe it because Baker was learning his fourth offensive system in 3 years with no OTAs and no preseason last year.
Mm-hmm.
Odell gets hurt. Baker still didn't light it up the next 2 games. It wasn't until after the bye week he started to get going. Was red hot, one of the best top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL statistically. No arguing that. Why? What do we have to lose by waiting to see Odell? You're not going to get a lot for him if we just trade him now because he's off ACL injury. If you let him come back, Baker forces the ball the first 4 weeks, but Odell's healthy, then maybe you can get what you want out of him. And let's say Baker doesn't force him the ball, and all of a sudden the Browns have that deep threat they needed against Kansas City. This offense is one of the best in the NFL. Then. I don't think they're trading him. I believe the front office that they're taking calls because you have to, and that's your job. But a call can be as simple as, "Hello, you want Odell?" Sorry, no. That mean just because they're taking calls doesn't mean they're actively trading him.
Well, I mean, I don't want a John Q situation with Denzel Washington. Odell, if you're listening, we're not going to hold you hostage, okay? Put the phone back down. Don't call your lawyer. No John Q situation here. One, he doesn't make our offense better. Factually, he doesn't. And I'll tell you why. And it's not necessarily Odell's fault. It's not necessarily Baker Mayfield's fault. It's Kevin Stefanski's fault. Hey, Stephon Diggs, how was playing in Kevin Stefanski's system? It sucked. Yeah, I heard it wasn't good. It was so bad that he literally asked and pleaded to get out of Minnesota. And then he ended up where? In Buffalo, where he ended up having over 1 million yards this season. It was just over 1,500, but it was a lot. I don't think Kevin Stefanski's system fits like a necessarily number 1 top-tier wide receiver because as good as Jarvis is, and he is a 1, I don't want to disrespect him. He doesn't have the athleticism that typically comes with the number 1. He's not a Calvin Johnson, a Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins. He's not even a Brandon Marshall. Brandon Marshall, I don't know if you remember how he played. He's really good.
On the Broncos?
Oh, my God. He was unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, why hold Odell Beckham hostage? Why keep him here? He doesn't want to be here. I don't even want him here. I love Odell. I love him. That's why I don't want him here. I don't want to ruin like his peak years of his life because he doesn't help us win. If I believed he helped us win, why would I want to trade one of our best players? I'm not Bill O'Brien, okay? Don't look at me like I'm Bill O'Brien, Mitch, because I know that's what you're thinking. I don't trade away my best wide receiver if I feel like it can help me. But he's not our best wide receiver, and he can't help the Browns. So, we got to ship him out.
All I know is nobody knows for certain what's going to happen. I hope he stays. I hope we can work it out because, listen, if Baker and the Browns offense figured it out, this offense would be one of the best in the NFL. But as far as Brandon Marshall, this is all I have to say to you.
Who was on crack?
That's fair enough. You could probably play that after a lot of things that comes out of his mouth. Mitch, it's time for your afternoon headlines.
Oh, if you insist.
Oh, I insist.
All right. Well, Let's just start in the NFL then, Jordan.
Okay.
All right, what do you say about that?
Let's do it.
The Bears franchise tagged Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, Allen Robinson was going to get big money if they didn't franchise tag him because Allen Robinson's really good. What was the franchise tag for him?
Wait for it, because I really didn't get that far on it. Sorry, I was just kind of. Like,
no, it's okay. Headlines. It's okay. I'm trying to figure out. I know Dak's was what 37.8. That was the median top quarterback. So guys, if Dak didn't get that contract and the Cowboys would have franchised him this past year, he was going to make 37.8. Go ahead, Mitch. If you got it.
I just wanted to make sure we got that one out there because that was a big one. Jordan, let's just get back to some of the other headlines that more people are worried about here. And I won't lie, these aren't my best headlines. It was pretty dry weekend.
It's okay
in the world. But as we all know, Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, richest man in the world, was divorced. His wife, who is the fourth richest woman in the world with $53 billion, has remarried a teacher at her kid's middle school. You got some pretty big kahunas, don't you? To marry a teacher at your kid's middle school?
For some reason, that was the article that go ahead, Mitch.
Her new husband then said they will be taking the money, acting like he made that money because he didn't, and they will be donating it all over.
Yeah.
So who's got more balls on him here? I don't even know her name. So we'll say Bezos' ex-wife for marrying her son's teacher, or the teacher for just automatically claiming all the money and say we're going to donate it.
Yeah, that was really weird. That was actually the first article I read when I woke up this morning. Don't tell me why. But that was it. Typically, I read an article when I wake up for like a couple minutes. Yeah, and I had to wake up to a picture of her in this other guy. Really weird story. Apparently, she's given away $4 billion, and she has like $48 billion left. Her 3% stake in Amazon when she left, like got divorced from him, I believe her 3% stake was $52 billion.
Oh.
With a B.
So if she's just like giving away some, can we get some?
I mean, probably not, but we can ask. We can see if we can cover her balls. Or her new husband's balls.
I'll cover anybody's balls. Jordan, speaking of Jarvis Landry, happy anniversary, or happy Jarvis Day. 3 years ago today, the Cleveland Browns sent a 2018 4th round, 2019 7th round pick to the Miami Dolphins for Jarvis Juice Landry. Ultimately, you could thank him for the turnaround of this franchise, can you not?
Yeah. Yes and no. I want to say, yeah, I love Jarvis, but I still can't get the image out of my head from the playoffs where Baker throws an interception and he just stops on the play. Because that's what he brought into Cleveland. And then in one of the most important moments ever, it wasn't there. So here's a piece. I actually give the most to John Dorsey. I think John Dorsey's the reason the Browns are back. It sounds crazy, I know. I think he did a great job.
Fair. Everyone deserves some credit. I think I deserve credit too, but don't ask me why. Jordan, earlier the Browns released defensive end or defensive lineman Adrian Claiborne, freeing up some more cap space. Do you expect the Browns to now prioritize a defensive line piece in free agency?
I do think Andrew Berry's going to find somebody. I like him a lot. I think we got the right guys. I also like that we got some younger coaches for the Browns because I think they're into making some moves. It seems like a lot of these younger coaches are quick to move off players, quick to add players. We've seen that with Sean McVay, with Kyle Shanahan, some of these other young coaches. Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry, really young. Andrew Berry is only a year and a half, I think, older than me, Mitch. So I do expect him to add a defensive end. I expect him to add a lot of pieces on the defensive side of the ball.
May I interest you in either Bud Dupree or Carl Lawson?
Bud Dupree, so I can watch all the Steelers fans cry.
Little double dip action for the Browns there. Sign a need and take the Steelers.
Oh,
hey,
absolutely.
It would be double dip for Carl Lawson as well, who's from the Bengals. So I am perfectly okay with either of those guys, Jordan.
I'll take it.
Jordan, tough scene for Miami Heat center Myers Leonard, who was caught using an anti-Semitic slur while playing Call of Duty last night. It's not a good look for the big man.
No, it's not great. It's not great. Typically, you want to stay away from anti-Semitic remarks. Are we talking about Nick Cannon or somebody else?
Oh, somebody else.
Oh,
yeah,
man, a lot of people out there making a lot of.
Watch
Hey, they must not be paying attention around America right now. You can't say really anything, even remotely close to not okay. And those things were never okay. So
no,
yeah, there's that.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with his relationship on the court and in the community now, but that'll be determined later. Jordan, some shocking news though by the Detroit Lions today, but it's the Detroit Lions, so I don't know if you should be shocked with anything they do. They are not using their franchise tag on wide receiver Kenny Golladay, which means Golladay is now headed toward free agency. Would you be interested in picking him up if the Browns did get rid of OBJ?
No, I don't. I don't want him. I don't want him because the Browns have a lot of weapons at tight end and wide receiver. I don't feel like the Browns tight ends and wide receivers are valued where they should be. I feel like their value is much higher than people outside of Cleveland value them. I think there's a reason that Odell can leave and the Browns can bludgeon the Titans in the first half in Tennessee. There's a reason, because the Browns have some good pieces Baker can throw to.
They got Baker, Reagan, Mayfield.
They do.
Jordan, do you remember Baron Davis?
Love Baron Davis. Love him. You remember when he beat the Mavericks? Do you remember that? AC, the one seed?
Yeah. I remember a lot about Baron Davis, but you know who Baron Davis doesn't like?
Who?
Dan Gilbert. Today,
get in line.
Baron Davis on Twitter, took to Twitter and tweeted the following. I remember Dan Gilbert sent a message to me that he wouldn't let me out of my deal if I went to play with LeBron. He knew that where I was going, so they played hardball. He said if I went to play with LeBron, he would win a title. I told him LeBron is going to win the title anyway. One, what do you think about Baron Davis putting this out on social media? And two, what does this say about Dan Gilbert that we already didn't know?
Yeah, I mean, we already didn't like Dan Gilbert. So, I mean, that's doesn't surprise me that he would say something like that. But me and you were talking in the car a little earlier today. Can you imagine being an owner and you're paying somebody like their salary and they're trying to tell you what to do? Like, that shit has to get old. Like, having LeBron come into your office for the 47th time in July, asking for what trades we're going to do later in the year, it has to get old. It would have to get old. I would not want to be an owner of an NBA team, ever.
You said LeBron walking into Dan Gilbert's office. Wouldn't it be Dan Gilbert walking into LeBron's office? Because I thought like LeBron pretty.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. Maybe
Speaking
Dan Gilbert.
LeBron,
go ahead.
Did LeBron throw another jab at Michael Jordan this past weekend? Jordan, on Friday morning, 12:01 a.m. to be exact. A lot of new music gets released out there to Spotify and Apple Music. Well, Drake, some people consider him the GOAT, at least of our generation.
Okay.
Released 3 songs. Kyle Kuzma, then tweeted out that owl emoji, which is symbolic of Drake, and Ross is the rap MJ and Pippen duo. LeBron then quoted that and said, "Nah, bro, they more like Steph and KD. They don't miss ever." LeBron throwing another jab at MJ?
Yeah, he does do a lot of subtle jabs. I will tell you this. If I had to play against two guys, I would rather play, I think, against Pippen and Jordan. I know how crazy that sounds, but I would not want to play against Durant and Steph. Maybe it's recency bias, the fact that I watched it, but I've watched a lot of full, from start to finish Bulls games, and KD and Steph together were just unbelievable. I think their ceiling may have been higher than anybody else's ceiling in NBA history. I think there's a lot of numbers that proves that, but we'll never know.
We will never know. You know what we do know, though?
What do we know?
Les Miles will not be coaching the Kansas Jayhawks this year in college football, Jordan. And why? Well, him and the University of Kansas have mutually agreed Or like Kansas probably forced him out.
Mm-hmm.
To part ways, because if reports and allegations stemming back to 2013 when Les Miles was at LSU, and reports are saying that he was with female students of the university, in which he then said he was just mentoring them, Jordan. We won't go into further details because if you're smart, you can put 2 and 2 together.
Oh, yeah, he was mentoring them all right.
Was with young girls that were going to the university that he coached at. That's weird. Jordan, 1, you already said it's weird, but how weird is it? And 2, what kind of mark does this leave on LSU now, who's had multiple allegations? Another one with Coach Ed Orgeron, with one of his players being accused of rape, and LSU apparently covered it up.
Yeah, that's the thing about football, in basketball, in baseball. There's so much money in these sports that you really, I mean, if you're in the position of some of these billionaires, you're going to hide whatever you have to hide to make sure that you don't lose money. That's it. And it's also football, and it's also reputation. In football down in the South, kind of a big deal. COVID came and they said, we're thinking about playing with no pads. They wanted to play with less equipment than more. So they're pretty serious down there. The Les Miles, it's a little weird. When I say a little weird, it's incredibly weird, seeing as how most of those girls Les Miles was with were probably the same age as his granddaughters. But outside of that, it's not that bad at all. You nasty son of a bitch.
I was gonna make a joke, and a lot of people out there in the ball pit know I'm very good at some dark humor, but we're gonna refrain from that today on episode 32 of Cover Your Balls. Jordan, we're gonna stick with some college football headlines here before we make our way into our next segment. Or ending the show, we have 2 different stories in college football, but let's just stay right here. Michigan athletic director said that Harbaugh does not face wins quota. Are you buying that or not?
There's not a wins quota for him. So you have no expectations. Then is that what you're telling me? Yeah,
correct.
Hey, if you go 2 and 10, it's okay. It's not a big deal. What? Like, it's that type of attitude. Like, that is why they suck. It starts at the top always. Know that it always starts at the top. And if you have somebody at the top saying we don't have a win quota, well then you need to be unemployed, okay? Because you're at the University of Michigan. You're not at Tulsa, okay? You're not at Portland State. You're not at Chico State. You're at Michigan University. Yes, there does. I want them to be better, Mitch. I want them to be better. I'm tired of it.
I wouldn't mind seeing them be a little bit better, but just never beat Ohio State. Jordan, some breaking news. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have re-signed linebacker Levante David for 2 years, $25 million. Somebody the Browns were highly interested in. Shocked that he's staying in Tampa?
Not at all. Why wouldn't you want to stay with Tom Brady? Like, do you like to win? If you like to win, stay in the vicinity of Tom Brady, and just work your ass off. First of all, he is one of the best linebackers in all the NFL. $25 million in my eyes for somebody that fast, who you can line up on a wide receiver, number 2 wide receiver, possibly number 1, worth every cent. Every cent. Probably the best pickup so far. Better than J.J. Watt in my eyes. Way better.
I second that. 100%. Doesn't have a track record of being hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, you said it best. He's one of the best linebackers in the game, Jordan. Staying in college sports before we go back to college football. Shout out to Cleveland State men's basketball team, who is in the Horizon League Championship tonight at 7 p.m., trying to reach a berth to the NCAA National Tournament, aka March Madness, next week. If the Vikings defeat Oakland, they will have an appearance back in the tournament for the first time since 2009. Jordan, can Cleveland State make a run?
I don't know. Mitch, can Cleveland State make a free throw?
No, that everybody knows. And if you don't know, now you know, because Jordan's going to tell you why.
As a team, they shoot almost 60% from the free throw line. Yeah, the spot on the court that nobody's guarding you, the spot where the ref throws you the ball and everybody in the stadium watches you shoot while not moving. Yeah.
They're 300th in the country. I didn't, like I told you earlier, and I think people are hearing that and like, oh no, you're full of shit. No, they said this live on the broadcast last night as Cleveland State shot free throws and did proceed to miss. 300th in the country. I didn't even know there was 300 qualifying Division I basketball schools, Jordan.
I didn't think there were. Took a sports management class that told me there weren't. That's why. I'm going to have to call my teacher up, talk to her about it. I'm not okay with it.
Whack. Very whack. Jordan, Ohio State paused football activity today due to an increase in positive tests for the coronavirus. They are getting ready for their spring game, which I believe is next week, or if not next week, within the coming weeks.
It's soon.
You surprised that there's an increase in coronavirus cases?
Not at all. I drive a lot, typically, so I see traffic patterns. I've noticed how much busier it is. I've been out late at night. I see everybody out. I'm not surprised at all. Grant coming in the comments saying, Judy, yeah, that was my teacher, Judy Devine. I need her number right now. What are we even talking about? What the hell are we talking about right now?
Ohio State and coronavirus cases.
Oh, yeah.
Activity.
I'm not surprised.
I think we need to talk more about Judy. Where is Judy, and what did she teach you?
That was my worst. It was a 400 level sports management class, so it was supposed to be a very hard class. It was one of my worst grade. I think that was the only grade that wasn't an A my entire senior year. She gave me like a B-.
What the hell, Judy? First, you're teaching the wrong information. Now you're giving a B-. You know what? For that.
Who was on crack?
She must be on crack when she was teaching class over there. So, and one last thing, Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
The Brooklyn Nets signed Blake Griffin. Is that going to make a difference?
Yeah, it's going to make a difference. A week or two ago, I said that I was leaning more towards them at this point. Everybody listening probably right now is probably like, well, you're the flip-flopper, Jordan. You're going to flip-flop to the Lakers next week. No, the Nets are going to win the title, and I'm going to hate it. I already know I'm going to hate it. Mitch, we may have seen LeBron's last NBA championship.
It's a crime that it takes three superstars and one, former all-star. I'll say all-star because I don't believe Blake Griffin was ever a superstar. It takes 4 all-stars to take down a 36, 7, 8. I don't even know how old he is. It's sad. It's sad that you guys all left the Western Conference to go form a team in the East just to get there to play LeBron. Like, get some balls.
Well, you can't really blame Blake.
Everybody in the Brooklyn Nets is hereby banned for who has biggest balls. You know why? Because they have tiny balls. They have tiny balls because they're too scared to play LeBron. That's all there is to it. Banned. I said it.
I don't think anything else has to be said. I think you said all you needed to say. I think you spoke for me too there. I agree.
I just found out I offended Kyrie Irving. I'm sorry. He was upset that I said his balls were small, and I referred to him as balls instead of testicles. Kyrie, I apologize. Please don't take me to court. And with that being said, those are my afternoon headlines.
Mitch, those were much better headlines than you thought they were. I'll tell you that. They were a lot better than you thought they were. They were really good. Thank you for that. And I can't believe you brought up the Bezos thing. We'll talk more about that later. Mitch, there's a lot more to get into, so let's get into it.
Let's go.
Mitch, there's a problem in Texas right now. I said we'd get into it. We're going to get into it. This is a very frustrating thing, but we're going to get into it. Over the past 5 to 6 months, there has been heavy discussion whether the Eyes of Texas school song is racist or not. How heavy a discussion, you might ask? How about Texas? Yesterday on Tuesday, they released a 58-page report. 58 pages. Pretty heavy discussion. So what you're probably thinking is, this song has to be pretty racist. Well, we'll let you hear for yourself. Now, what you're probably thinking is, well, Jordan. Oh. Oh my God. The longest fight song ever.
We're just gonna end it there. That was long.
And yes, Noah, for you later on, we will play Boomer Sooner if we can provide that. Maybe not today, but we will.
Maybe not today. We'll get that in there next time.
Obviously, there's some lyrics to this song.
Right. I just played the actual band version that they play at football games for the people out there.
Yeah. If you guys would like to listen or hear the song, not hear the song, you just heard it. If you want to go read the lyrics, go online, type them in. Mitch, Texas has spent all these months trying to figure out if their fight song is racist. Is this fight song racist?
No. Like I mean, to me, it's not. I mean, you can't tell somebody how they are supposed to feel. I mean, obviously somebody felt that it was. I don't know all the background information for when this was made their fight song. In my opinion, it's not, but other people's opinions, it could be. And that's what makes this country great, is everyone can have an opinion. But, after a game, if this is what they play, I don't understand. I mean, there's nobody there singing it like the national anthem. You know what I mean? I'm actually baffled. This 58-page report seems like something that you have a semester paper and you spend all this time on it and you turn it in and then you get like a C-. Like that's what this smells like to me. Okay. Like a 58-page. No, like you don't need a 58-page report. Whoever said less is more was right. Because who in the right mind, first off, even wants to read a 58-page report? Nobody. I'll tell you right now, nobody. No, but Jordan, you want to read a 58-page report? Actually, I'll answer that for you. No, you don't. Don't even answer that.
You're right.
That's all I can say. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, Texas fight. It's goodbye to A&M. I'm not going to do that to you guys. I was going to read this whole song. Guys, it's not a racist song. We need to stop trying to cancel things and try to find areas where, there's plenty enough racism around. Let's not create more, all right? If that's okay with y'all. I would like to not have to deal with more of it. So let's not create it, because there's plenty of douchebags out there already. So it's not racist. Why are you pouring money into this? Why are you spending your time? I also do think this, Mitch. At some point, is it possible that we can change the context of what the song means? Because the song meant something to the people 100 years ago. This song's from 1903, okay? We're talking about a song right now that's from 1903. Okay? The people who made it might have been racist, but I don't think the song, necessarily was.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's completely different. If the people who made it, to me, in my opinion, it's completely different if the people that made it are racist, but that doesn't make the song racist. Yes, sure, Dr. Seuss is a racist. He's a very awful person. He still made books that have no racist intent, whether he made some that did or not. Like, you can't, one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish isn't racist. All right. Like it's just fact. Like, just because a racist person, and I don't even know, Jordan, you know more than this than I do. If he was racist, I mean, I don't even know if he was racist, the writer of the song, he or her. There I am already just assuming who made this was a male. That's on me. I apologize out there.
Oh, he was. It was two males together.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
58-page report, Jordan. They could have spent their money so much in so many better ways. I could have typed that 58-page report for them in 8 pages. I could have cut 50 pages down. I guarantee it. And I would have done it the night before it's due, because that's my best work.
Man, I'm with you on that. I'm a procrastinator. My best work's always the last work I do, which is always right before it's due. Mitch, there's some other stuff that went on over the weekend that we have some audio for and that we're going to get into, and I'm going to let you roll that out. to everybody in the ball pit.
So everybody in the ball pit, fair warning. Hang with us here. The audio quality is, the best I could do. And it was a supposedly hidden recording between Valdosta high school head coach in Georgia. And it kind of exposes something that's not being talked about enough right now in the sporting world. And Jordan and I will tell you why. And this shouldn't be a shock, but it just goes to show you this is happening and it's not getting the national coverage it deserves. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this recorded conversation. And I'll give all the props to it once we're done. In Georgia.
And then the mayor, is fine too. I mean, he's like the mafia. But either way, do you know what Kirby's doing at Georgia right now? You know why he's taking that program the way he is?
I think because he's a good recruiter.
He is, but why do you think he's getting these kids and keeping kids in and all that stuff?
Taking care of them.
So he's got a guy named Hugh Nall, who lives in Albany. Hugh is the guy that sort of handles things. Okay, he's the handler. Okay, so Kirby's come down and met with the richest of the rich of Southwest Georgia, not Southeast, not Macon, Southwest where he's from.
Mm-hmm.
He got the richest guy in Bainbridge. He got the two richest guys in Caldwell. He's got the rich guy over here in Valdosta. Anybody's in Georgia.
Wonder who he's got in Valdosta.
Multi-millionaires. Now listen, do you know how much money they spend on a player when they get them? Somewhere $9,000 to $100,000 to sign. Somewhere $9,000 to $150,000 to sign. Like Chubbs, when Chubbs came back and Chubbs didn't go to the NFL draft, Mark Motley, it was $360,000 donations given to Chubbs to stay in school.
Oh, I hope that's Bradley Chubbs and not Nick Chubb.
For him to not go declare for the draft.
Yeah.
So, but that's what Kirby does. Who did he learn that from?
You.
Oh, shit, no. Nick Saban.
I was going to say, that was going to be my next guess.
See, Nick's got it made because Nick's got one guy he answers to, Paul Bear-Bryant Jr. Paul Jr. is his go-to guy, multi. He's the second richest guy in Alabama. Well, the third richest guy in Alabama is the guy from the Mobile. And so Amos Cooper. So Amos handles all the Mobile money. Coach Bryant had that set up in the 60s, 70s. So Mobile, where all the dirty money comes, or over around Aliceville up to the west side of the state, up around Florence, down in that Joe Wheeler State Park money.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, that's how Alabama handles every bit of their damn recruits.
So we got to find some funny money.
So that was Valdosta High School head coach Rush Probst. Jordan, I'm not shocked at these allegations that he's thrown out there, okay? I do believe that there's illegal recruiting going out there throughout all the country at all levels of college programs. I'm not saying all, and I'm not saying they're offering six figures to recruits to come sign there. But Jordan, I find it funny that ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, hasn't said a single thing about this. And you know why? Because they're partnered with the SEC. If this was Ohio State, if this was Michigan, if this was Oregon, they would be all over this story. We've seen it before when it happened with the tattoo gate and selling memorabilia at Ohio State with Terrell Pryor, DeVere Posey, and those guys under Jim Tressel. ESPN isn't going to say a word about this because they're partnered with the SEC, which is why I said we need to talk about it today. Okay. One, unfortunately, he wasn't talking about Bradley Chubb. He was talking about Nick Chubb, Jordan, which you said you hope
Thank God.
True. No, our Nick Chubb.
Oh, he was talking about our Nick Chubb.
Yes, he was talking about Nick Chubb.
Can you tell him to go untalk about Nick Chubb?
Well, Nick Chubb has already come out on social media where he's not very active at all, saying it's fake news. If he needed money, he would have gone pro. But that's not here nor there.
Oh.
There is, the University of Georgia Compliance has launched their own investigation into this matter. Jordan, let's just say how it is.
Okay.
For me, I do believe there is, illegal recruiting out there. Do you believe these allegations? And do you find it funny that ESPN has not said a word about these schools in the SEC.
So one, you said you believe, Mitch Balla, you believe that there is illegal recruiting going on, correct? Let me get that straight.
Throughout the entire country.
Okay, let me get a little taller here.
I also, not all. I'm not saying everybody does it. I'm saying I think it does happen throughout everywhere.
All right, Mitch. I don't really think it happens throughout everywhere. Because if it did, we wouldn't have the same teams in the college football playoff or good every year. And if it does happen, it only happens at select few schools. But no one is getting paid $50,000 to be the running back for Charleston University. Okay? Maybe Nick Chubb is. By the way, I don't think Nick Chubb is. I don't think he would take the money. I think he's that type of guy, personally. But I really don't think it's happening all over the place. I understand that it may happen in the SEC. I would say the Big Ten, but I don't really think it does. I know it happens. I don't think it happens that much, though. And who the hell is a high school coach getting interviewed? Like, that's how big football is down at SEC. They're interviewing high school coaches, like, all the time. All the time. There shouldn't be any, like, there shouldn't be any audio from a high school coach in March. Football season ended in November, okay? There is no spring high school football game, Mitch. This is ridiculous. This guy's probably going to write a book now. Next, he's going to be like, how Nick Saban and Kirby Smart did it without you seeing all along. It's going to be like the OJ book.
There's so many, I have so many different opinions on this entire situation. And I'll come out and say it. I do think that there is truth to what he said, specifically because ESPN hasn't touched it. And like I said, it's because they're partnered. Mm-hmm. And if this happened anywhere else with a big time school, look, if little Notre Dame College in South Euclid, Ohio.
That's right. Oh, Mitch, you're right. I completely forgot about that. Man, I forgot how the networks roll with the certain conferences. You're 100% right. I completely forgot about that. That's a fantastic point. The SEC that's why Paul Feinbaum's on ESPN all the time. That's why they get so much SEC coverage.
That's why they're the home of the SEC network.
And I completely forgot about that. Keep going. You sound good.
There's this double standard out there that they have set that they can't go against. They can't report wrongdoings by people they're partnered with, which that's just wrong in general. Think about it. I already touched on it earlier. Les Miles has been accused of something from 2013. It's just now coming up now. Why? Oh, because he's not in the SEC anymore. Ed Orgeron had a player who was accused of rape at LSU, brushed under the rug. Only came up because it made it to a federal offense. Then it had to come up. Okay. Now you have two coaches, one who is arguably the best college football coach of all time, and another who had been coaching under him before and now gets to compete against him. Jordan, you and I have talked about it before. There's 3 teams in college football year in and year out that are constantly the best, and they are the ones who have appeared in the college football playoff the most. Mm-hmm. Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State. Okay. Yes. If you're Alabama,
Oklahoma.
Nick Saban, Oklahoma too. Yes. Why does Nick Saban have to reportedly pay players to go there? Is saying, hey, do you want to come win a national championship and go to the NFL, where we are one of the top 3 schools that send the most players into the NFL ever? Like, is that not good enough for you? No, you have to come. We have to pay you $50,000, $60,000, buy you a car, do something for you to come play at Alabama. Is that what they've been doing this entire time to win national championships? Are they buying national championships? Is Georgia all of a sudden relevant again because they're doing the exact same thing? Because they have the same guy funneling money to Alabama that Kirby Smart already knew that funnels it to Georgia now? Jordan, and this isn't going to get national attention. This might be the most national attention it gets. There is stuff going on, and we're never going to hear about it because people are more worried about the money they get from that conference and those people than they are about telling the truth of what's going on. And that's how I feel about it.
You brought up a lot of good points.
I do think this is happening. I really do.
I can't see someone, and this is why it's possible for it to be done, based off of what I'm going to say. I was going to say, I can't see Nick Saban doing it, somebody who works that hard doing it, but that's the perfect disguise. No one would think it's me, right? And I feel like a lot of people who make big mistakes in terms of basically doing things like this, or, we had an episode a couple weeks ago called the Bernie Madoff experiment, do things like Bernie Madoff. Typically people who are really good at disguising their true intentions and what they're doing have a lot of success. So you're right. It could, in fact, be happening in Alabama, but I still don't, man, I find it hard to believe because I've seen the athletes play on the field, right? I get that you're saying, well, Jordan, they have those athletes because they're paying for them, but
and I'm not saying all of them. I'm not saying all of them.
No, I know, no. I'm not accusing you of that, Mitch. I'm just saying it's a very, very complex conversation, and it's one of those conversations that it typically doesn't happen like this. Like audio doesn't get leaked from a high school coach for us to have this conversation, right? Conversations usually don't begin quite like this. I'm really interested to see if anything else comes out about it, but you're probably right, it won't. Because ESPN, worldwide leader in sports, that's what they say. They're going to control the narrative in this. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the sadder things about Division I basketball and football is we see a lot of men specifically do some crazy things, and other men cover it all up. And I don't know when that's going to change. I think it's just human nature. I think that's going to be around forever. I don't know if we ever out-evolve that.
I think you're right. And, Brandon Ranky in the comments says, if it happens in B-ball, meaning basketball, it happens in CFB, meaning college football. And we've seen it happen a lot more recently where it gets out in college basketball. I mean, hell, now apparently
Wiseman,
whatever had to happen for Oklahoma State did not go through in time. Right now, Oklahoma State at the beginning of the year was not supposed to be eligible for the NCAA tournament, Jordan. They had a recruiting violation that falls on Big 12 Player of the Year and Freshman of the Year, Cade Cunningham. Well, now all of a sudden, steps weren't taken properly, and they may be. I believe they have till Tuesday. They may be eligible for the national tournament, which is crazy to think about. But James Wiseman, like you said, at Memphis, and we've seen what happened at Louisville with Rick Pitino and hiring prostitutes for recruits. We saw what happened in Tennessee, and I think that it got out at Tennessee about the football players or recruits being paid with money in the bags, McDonald's bags, because it's Tennessee. They're not relevant at all. They need to have some publicity, and all publicity is good publicity, in my opinion. I don't think a football coach who's coached as long as Probst, I believe, would come out and put his high school at risk, would put his job security at risk, and also chance the fact that his players who are in high school, most want to go to the next level, wouldn't have that connection now at Alabama and Georgia. I just don't see why a guy would come out there and lay it all on the line for no reason. Okay. I think he knew something was going on, and I think he's just tired of it. I think he's one of the older folks that is finally sick and tired of seeing it go on, and he's going to try to stop it. And ultimately, nobody's going to stop it until there is no more bias. And that starts with ESPN and their schools. And that also starts with Fox and their coverage of the Big Ten and Pac-12. I mean, everybody has their own thing, but I do believe this is going on. Now, it's not every player, it's not every university, but
you think he was trying to uncover that? Because it sounded like he was bragging that he knew things that other people knew about. It didn't sound like he was trying to tell other people anything. He's like, hey, you know what I know that sounds real good on this radio show right now? Because I only get radio. Like he's probably one of those. Go ahead.
That was apparently that wasn't a radio show. That was just one of those, hey, I have my voice memos turned on my phone while we talk. And he probably didn't know about it.
See, that's ridiculous. I don't think he was trying to uncover any. I
also don't think he was bragging though. Some of those comments he made. I don't think he was. Either way, there's an issue in college sports, and I don't think it's going to get fixed like most people think. Like Jay Billis, college basketball analyst, covers it. Mm-hmm. He's great at what he does.
Oh,
he tends to think that once that these players are compensated, off their likeness and image, that things are going to change. I don't, because I think that's when schools are going to come after him and say, hey, Tennessee's recruiting you, but we'll pay you $50,000 to come to Bama, where, they buy a lot more jerseys that have your number on it and do this, that, whatever. I think it might get worse.
Oh, it's going to.
Boosters sending money and schools bribing kids, buying cars, buying nice ass apartments or whatever it may be. I think it's going to get worse, as crazy as that sounds. I think there's a real issue in college sports, and I am not excusing the fact that Alabama is reportedly off this. I mean, there's no facts yet, and I doubt facts will come out because it's Nick Saban. But Jordan, like you said, he has nobody to answer to but himself. He even said that in that audio that I played, that he knows he's the top man. He has nobody to answer to but himself. I mean, hell, the guy tested positive for COVID and 2 days later was on the sideline coaching.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody else in the Big Ten. Now, I know every conference had their own rules, but it's just so convenient that Nick Saban, of all people, of all the damn people in the country that could have got it, tested positive, and 2 days later, oh, he had X amount of negatives. He's good to go.
Well, yeah, 2 days later, COVID had Nick Saban, Mitch. That's what you're missing about this. I think you're missing the power of Nick Saban. It's very similar to Chuck Norris. Very similar to Chuck Norris. Hey, guys, if you're still watching, go ahead, Mitch.
From Walker, Texas Ranger.
Oh, from Walker, Texas Ranger, or Texas Ranger with a Walker.
Yeah, Texas Ranger with a Walker.
Did I beat you to it? I didn't realize. I'm sorry. Halfway.
No, it's okay.
That's funny. Guys, before we go to Who Has Bigger Balls, our last segment of the show, if you haven't liked this video yet, please like it. If you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube, we'd really appreciate it. We want to get, we want to be, he wants to be Skip Bayless. That's what he tells me every time I talk to him, is that he wants to be Skip Bayless. And, I would love to be his Shannon Sharp to Skip Bayless.
Okay, Max Kellerman.
Okay. So, guys, if you haven't done that, we'd appreciate it. But let's roll into our last segment, our favorite segment. Well, at least my favorite segment.
Who has bigger balls?
Mitch, who has bigger balls? You have a candidate today, and I have a candidate today. Mitch, who do you think has bigger balls?
Jordan. It's obviously former CEO of Papa John's. The Papa himself, John Schneider. But why, you ask, Jordan? We remember, the man claimed he was going to eat pizza every day for 30 days, and he did that interview as he's sweating. Well, Jordan, he's in the news again. And why? Well, I'm going to be very careful how I use this, but he is trying to get rid of the N-word in his vocabulary and went public with it and actually said he's been working for 20 months now of getting it out of his vocabulary. That's it. That's all I need to say. One, it's wrong enough that he already had it in his vocabulary because that's just something that doesn't need to be said. Two, why would you even say you've been working 20 months on removing that word from your vocabulary?
Oh, wow.
Let's get some big balls go on live television during an interview and say that.
Woo! That's a special type of stupid. And yet...
John Schneider. I'm sorry. I said Schneider. John Schneider. Papa John. Yeah, him. Not John Schneider, the singer. John Schneider.
Oh, my gosh. That's unbelievable. Yeah, you should never announce that. Yeah. Hey, I just want to let you guys know I'm working on... I'm not hitting women anymore. I've been doing it for a while. I'm done. Like, what? What are you talking about? Don't ever say that. You have to be, oh my God. Here's my who has bigger balls, and I still think my candidate may win. Because this is how bad this is. My candidate, Burger King. Do you guys know what Burger King did this weekend in the UK? Do you know? It's a rhetorical question. You can't say it. I can't hear you. Burger King tweeted out, "Women belong in the kitchen." And they did that on International Women's Day. Never has a tweet been more perfectly executed. But how big do your balls have to be to literally make a joke that women are not going to be okay with? Like, they're not going to think it's funny. Like the majority of them. Because it's very poor taste. It's only funny because it's ridiculous. In that I would have loved to have been a fly in the room when they were like brainstorming ideas. Hey, what should we put out on how about we love all mothers. Let's take care of our Mother's Day. No, how about you get back in the kitchen? Oh, hey, that's a pretty good idea. And that's what you come up with? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. They don't have a ball pit. That's the problem. If they had a ball pit, this wouldn't have happened.
We're open for sponsors of the ball pit. That's all I'm saying. Maybe not Burger King right now because what they're doing, but Jordan, I I'm gonna plead for my guy here. I thought that tweet was just like why would you tweet it? But it got me thinking.
It got you thinking.
Can't do well right now. Like they're just not relevant, right? They're not relevant when it comes to fast food. When you say, "Oh, what do you want to eat fast food wise?" What do you think of? You don't think of Burger King right away.
When I saw Burger King the other day, I thought it was a headline because I thought they were finally closing their stores.
Exactly. Jordan, this tweet was put out for one reason and one reason only.
What?
Publicity. No bad pub, or all pub is good pub.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Kim Kardashian.
Not only that, it was at the time yesterday, it was the most viewed tweet on Twitter. All right. So these people, all of a sudden, Burger King's trending again. And you know what's really messed up about this? And I'm going to say it, and it's true. There's so many people who actually probably agreed with what they said. They probably went and got Burger King yesterday because they supported that tweet. And it's sad, but it's true. Because there's so many people out there who actually probably think what they tweeted was true. And it's far from the truth. And Burger King continued to go on in that thread saying only 20% of line cooks in America are female. And they ended up going on to say that, they're having a fund for scholarships for females to go to culinary school. Yeah, they probably should have put that in a tweet first. But I think what they were doing was they were going for the attention. And trust me, they got all the attention because that tweet has since been deleted, I believe.
Oh, yeah, it has. I guess they had to run that by the owner of Burger King, right? They would have had to call him up and be like, hey, we got a real good tweet. We're not sure if we should send it. We wanted to hear your opinion on it. How about get back in the kitchen, all women? Like,
see,
do you think they went to the owner with that, though? There's no way the marketing team did this on their own. I mean, there's no way they went to him. So they would have had to do it on their own.
They had to have done it on their own. Plus, they're in the UK, so it's different time zones. So
thank you. You're helping me out here.
They called the owner. I mean, maybe a little bit. I mean, I still think Papa John's just a fool for saying that on live television.
Should we have them vote for it?
I think we should have them vote. I mean, I think we're just going to ultimately put this on Twitter, and I promise this will go on Twitter. Maybe we'll have a February versus March biggest balls bracket.
These are two of the best ones.
They are. And I straight up just forgot to put the tournament up for February, and that's on me.
That's okay.
We're going to fix it, though.
We'll get it up there.
Do you think like they called the owner and, there's different times of the day. And so the owner probably saw the phone call and was like, the hell, Burger King's still open? Like, these things are still in business. One, and then two, answered and said, hey, we're thinking about sending out a tweet. And you think he was probably just pissed off and like, I'm trying to sleep, send it, and hung up. That's what I envisioned happening. One, the owner was shook that he even owned Burger King still. He probably thought they shut down.
Thought I canceled the subscription.
Yeah. Two, he was probably just pissed off the UK was calling him early in the morning. Just said, send it. Full send, boys.
That was full send. Thank God that happened in the UK and not here. Thank God.
What is that? I don't even know the last time I had Burger King. Actually, no, I do. A couple of years ago in college when I was so poor, I was getting the 10 chicken nuggets for $1. It was a banging deal.
It is a banging deal. I mean, they used to have Cinnabons there, the mini buns, the mini Cinnabons, Cinny Minis. Yeah, that's the best thing they had there. But Mitch, I think that's all we got. Do you got anything else?
I think we covered a lot. I think people that are made it this far, their mind is racing right now, and they need to recover and maybe listen through it again and then subscribe because they already know that what's going to happen on Thursday when we have Sam Summers back is just going to be absurd because that's what happens every Thursday on Cover Your Balls.
You're right. No publicity is bad publicity. You heard it here from Mitchell Balla first. You listen, Papa John? No publicity is bad publicity.
Yeah, that one. Well, he's not with Papa John's.
Yeah, maybe not that one. Maybe just
maybe
the UK one.
Maybe not that one.
Maybe just the UK one. But if you guys hung with us the whole show, we really appreciate you guys. Thank you for hanging with the ball pit and hanging with us. We're here to cover your balls every Tuesday, Thursday, 4 p.m., YouTube, Twitter, wherever else you want, I guess. We're here every week. Check out our Twitter. We got some polls coming up.
And most importantly,
that's all we got. Yeah, what's most important? Yes?
We'll catch them on Thursday, but they need to remember, as always.
You gotta let fucking Baker Mayfield do this shit!